Alright, so it looks like developers, PlayStation 4 developers in particular, are getting peer pressured into releasing their games at 1080p. And that's regardless of if it actually runs well at 1080p or not. You see, the problem is a lot of people were coming into this generation with the assumption, the wrong assumption, that the standard for next generation gaming on the PlayStation 4, on the Xbox One, and even the Wii U would be 1080p 60 frames per second. That would be the standard that all games would be. All games on this next gen 1080p and 60 frames per second. And we're seeing, at least early on, that is definitely not the case. And the latest victim of this was Thief. Now, usually these past few games, or at least these ports that have come out, the PlayStation 4 has been able to do 1080p 60 frames per second, while the Xbox One was like 900p 30 frames or 900p 60 frames. Supposedly the PlayStation 4 can do 1080p 60 frames per second in its sleep. Well, apparently that's not true, at least for every game. This game on both systems has very bad frame rate problems. Very bad. Looking at Crave Online, they did a write-up about the PlayStation 4 version of this game. And as you know, PlayStation 4 versions of these games, since they've been coming out, have run dramatically better than the Xbox One version. Now, on this particular game, the PlayStation 4 version is 1080p native. The Xbox One version is 900p native. But it turns out that the Xbox One version, because it's 900p native, is a lot more smoother, a lot more stable. In fact, it says right here, the PlayStation 4 version struggles to maintain 30 frames per second, regularly dipping to the 15 to 20 range during gameplay. At several points during the journey, it even edges towards the single digits. Single digits! They're saying that the PlayStation 4 version of this game dips as low as 9 frames per second. So you have to ask yourself this: is it worth having 1080p if the presentation is 9, 10, 11 frames per second? Is it worth it? These developers are being peer pressured into having all their games be 1080p native. But it doesn't matter how high the resolution is if the end product looks like a slideshow.